Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Trevor Crane, and welcome to another daily dose of Greatness Quest. Today, we're going to talk about money-making activities. In fact, what's the best money-making activities for you to focus on so that you can build your ideal business and live your ideal life? I'm really excited about today's show, and I hope you are too, because I'm bringing you a story from a friend of mine who makes $5 million a year and only works 8 hours a month. So if you want to have an idea how he does that, it's a very simple process. You're going to be disgusted by how simple it is. But I'm excited to share it with you and to apply it in my life and help you apply it in yours.
Cowboy.
Welcome to a daily dose of greatness quest with your host Trevor Crane, my daddy. He is going to help you take your life and business to the next level.
Here I come to save the day.
Trevor Crane here, 11-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of Epic Author Publishing, coming to you live every day so you can plug in every day to build your ideal business so you can live your ideal life.
If my daddy can do it, then anybody can do it because he's a weirdo.
You're supposed to make me sound cool.
Okay, so I've had the really good fortune of speaking with some of my mentors lately. And I'm talking about my mentors from years past, the people that probably you have followed and studied with. Just imagine meeting your mentors and being able to sit down with them and have a conversation. So I'm involved in this mastermind group, and the idea is to get together with people who are of a like mind, and we get together and we talk about the things that are most important to us and then how to make those things happen. And one of the things that we do in this one group is we've been introduced to some of our mentors, the people who are leaders in their industry. The other cool thing about this is that in meeting them, what I found is that they're super cool, like super, super disgustingly nice and amazing. Like I met Jeff Walker, who's someone I've followed for years and have always felt really compelled to his message, and I really liked what he shares. And I got the chance to meet him a few times and chat with him here recently. And he was just such a sweetheart, you made you want to throw up in your mouth. That's not exactly it. I'm not saying, no, not in not in a bad way at all. I'm just saying, like, it was inspiring because he was so nice and so cool and so successful at what he does and just so humble pie. It was just awesome. And the same thing when I met Brennan Burchard. Brennan Burchard, I met recently and got the chance to talk with him. And for some reason, I got nervous when I was talking to Brendan. I've been following him for so long as well. And he was so nice. And that was with everybody, not just with me. Now, he didn't look at my pretty face and was just nice to me. Now, the interesting thing is, speaking to both those gentlemen, Jeff Walker and Brennan Burchard, they shared with me some really cool things. And I asked questions, and they shared with me some insights, and they said, hey, if you do this and if you do that, it's going to create this result or that result. And it was awesome. And I've always loved these guys. And it's not like they told me that much different than they've told me on their products and programs and videos and trainings. But it's just completely different to go ahead and hear it from them, from their mouth, to speak to them and look them in the eye and whatnot. So I could mention to you about a half dozen more guys and gals that I've talked to that it's been a transformative experience to be able to connect with them and communicate with them. But my new friend that I'm going to tell you about today makes $5 million a year and works 8 hours a month. $5 million a year, makes 8 hours a month, or works 8 hours a month, and he keeps 53% of what he makes. So he has some costs and expenses, but holy Toledo, like of all the mentors I've talked to lately, like this is a guy who you wouldn't look at and think is like super successful. He's not like driving a Maserati and Lamborghini and whatnot, and he's just a good old boy. And I want to share with you the strategies he gave me, because I want to interview him and put him in my book. I've got a book I'm writing called How to Get Any Goal, and I'm doing a 30-day goal setting challenge If you download my app, I'm giving you a chance to join me on a 30-day free goal setting challenge where you set and get any goal. But as I'm doing research for this book, I'm trying to interview the coolest people I can find and find out from them, how do they set goals? How do they get goals? Things like that. But my new friend of mine, I'm not dropping his name right now because I'm not sure that he wants me to share exactly his story. I'm hoping he does because we've been talking about me interviewing him for the book. But just check this out. So here's what he told me. He said, and I'm just going to share it with you, of the exact system. Then we're going to talk about how I'm applying this personally. And if you're hearing my baby in the background, yes, I'm carrying my son this morning. I'm walking around with you. Okay. So check this out. He says he's on a road trip for another 8 days because he chooses only 8 days a month that he works. And he says, the key thing is ask yourself this. So this is the question of the day. It's a phenomenal question, and it's one that I suggest you ask and answer. It's also my challenge to you. So just let's take his advice and see what you can do to put your time and energy into the best money-making activities you can find. So here we go. The key thing is this. Ask yourself, what is the one specific activity that makes me most of my money? Okay, that's the question. What is the one specific activity that makes me most of my money? Period. Or question mark. And that's it. Like, this is where he spends most of his time. He goes, and then he follows up with another, like, genius statement, which just is so frustrating because it's so easy. He goes, and simply do more of that and less of everything else. He goes, it's a very simple model, not a lot of discussion about it. So do that for 2 months, and then let me know how it works, and then we'll go from there. Do you see what he just did to me? This guy, in like 1 or 2 sentences. Oh, and I even in just sharing it with you right now, I just learned it at another level. And even what he just did to me. And now what he and I am doing to you. So here's the deal. Tony Robbins shared this recipe with me. He said he came up with the phrase, success leaves clues. So like model people who are successful and do what they do, and you can get what they get. And then he gives an example at his events, and he calls it making a chocolate cake, like the world's greatest chocolate cake. And he asks you, the audience, he asks me, he's like, hey, if I give you the world's greatest chocolate cake recipe, and I teach you how to follow the instructions, can you make the world's greatest chocolate cake? Like, maybe it'll take you a little practice, but can you do it? And the answer is yes. Like, basically, you can he and haw about it and say, oh, maybe that guy's got the special touch but below me, if you get the instructions and you can just follow them, you'll get a chocolate cake. And I like to say, I use all the time when I'm talking to my clients is I'll say, well, if you just choose to not follow the instructions, let's say you decide, well, I don't really want to do that. I want to put in tuna fish because I think tuna fish is a really good idea. And you follow the rest of the recipe, but you throw in tuna fish, you're going to get something else. I don't know what it is, chocolate cake, tuna fish. Maybe it's the new masterpiece of desserts. I have no idea. But there's no doubt you're not going to get the world's greatest chocolate cake. So what my buddy just shared with me here is he gave me a challenge. A 2-month challenge. So check this out. I'm just realizing this, and I sent him another message like, oh, I would like to talk to you next week, yada, 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 but I didn't actually even listen. Oh, that's even embarrassing. This is a new friend of mine, and he's giving me specific marching orders just like I'm giving you the same marching orders. I'm sharing them with you. So he says this. Simply do more of that and less of everything else. It's a simple model, not a lot of discussion about it. Like, he doesn't want to mess around with me on the phone doing interviews and a variety of things. He's just like, dude, do more of that and less of everything else, and do that for 2 months. Let me know how it works. Let me know how it works out for you, and then we'll go from there. So what he's doing is he's challenging me. I'll bet you $1 that He doesn't even want to chat unless I will take some simple actions for a couple of months and then report back to him. Because just check it out. Like if he's going to become friends with someone, and like I asked for his advice. I said, hey, I really appreciated what you shared. I want to go ahead and talk with you a little bit further. And he's like, here you go, man, chocolate, and put it in the bowl. He goes, stir it up. Do that and get back to me on your results. So that's my challenge to you. Now, here's what I'll tell you how I'm applying this and how I think I'm maybe complicating it, but maybe you need to do something similar. I don't know. So what I did is I sat down the other day and I pulled out a piece of paper and I wrote down all of my money-making activities. Because here's the question. What is the one thing that makes you most of your money? And so I wrote it down, and I have a few things that make me money. So I'm like, okay, well, when I'm talking to a human one-on-one who's asking permission to work with me, like I've created curiosity, they've bought a book, they've subscribed to my podcast, they've done something. It's a one-on-one coaching call or strategy session, and that makes me money. There's no doubt. Like that's a gateway where people can buy from me. And I've done this really well in the past. I wrote the book called High Paying Clients. If you ever downloading the transcript from my episodes, I'm trying to give you that book for free constantly. I'm like, hey, you know what you do next? Buy this book or get this free book and just giving it to you. But I know that if I jump on the phone with people and talk to them, I'll make money. So then I wrote down the other money-making activities. So what are they? I mean, the promise for today's show is that you find the best money-making activities. The real answer to that is not one that I'll give you. It is one that you... Whoa, that's Maverick talking to you. That's not one that I'm going to give you. That's one that you need to discover on your own. Like, what is the best use of your time and makes you the most money? And so I realized that another one, so I wrote down like 5 of them. One of them is public speaking. When I'm up on stage, I'm speaking to a group of people. I definitely, that's a chance for me to influence them and then give them the permission to work with me. Another one would be webinars. I'm currently working on 2 new webinars that I want to be sharing, and those teach a lot of valuable information, and then it gives people permission to come in. So I made this list, and there's like 5 things. So for me, it's webinars, videos that I'll make. They're like little mini webinars or trainings that say, hey, here's some secrets and strategies to apply this, and if you'd like permission to work with me here, do that. I guess another thing that makes me money is having a campaign. So a funnel, excuse me. So having a funnel that's actually all dialed in and working. And then the other thing that makes me money is just making sure that we're running paid advertising. Now, the nice thing about that for me is that I have decided to hire a couple of people to help me with running those paid ads. Whoa. So my job is to do more of like just making sure that they are running the paid ads to my different things to bring people in. Okay, so now here's my advice to you. I make a list of all your money-making activities and whatever they are, and then just figure out which are the best ones. And the ones that are the one. Now he said the one, bastard. He's challenging me on not having 5 because you can't do 5 things. Not at once. You can do one thing at a time, probably really well, and that's about it. So here's what I did. I made my list of my money-making activities. I picked 5 of them. And then I started looking at my calendar and I started scheduling when I'm going to do each of these 5 things. But I'm going to share with you now that I'm now going to improve my plan. Because what my buddy just told me, in reading it to you now and in teaching it to you now, I just realized at a deeper level how to understand the 1 or 2 sentences of his recipe of success for spending time in my money-making activity to create the most result. He said, pick the one thing that makes me my most money and do more of that and less of everything else. So I'm just going to take his advice. I'm picking the one thing and I'm going to do that for 2 months and then I'm going to get back with him and report. And if you're willing to take me up on this challenge, for the next 30 days, you can download my app and I will work with you with some accountability on taking some action towards that. Set a goal, get any goal, and that's all I got for you today. Either follow my buddy's advice and don't join me on my app and 30-day challenge, Or if you'd like some support, then join me because my new app is really badass. If there's a challenge with you getting the app on your phone and how you follow along with all that, just let me know. Shoot me a message. You can always email me or reach out to me on social media. That's all I got for you. My little kid we're starting to make noise, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you soon, and can't wait to see you tomorrow.
To get even more awesomeness, which means all my best stuff, download my app by texting Trevor to 36260. It will show up right on your cell phone. Just text message the word Trevor to 36260. Talk to you soon.